In this video, we're discussing the most damaging lies narcissistic parents teach their children, lies that shaped your childhood and continue to control your adult life. I'm Jerry Wise, and for over 45 years, I've helped hundreds of thousands of people heal and get their families out of them. By practicing self-differentiation, the process of becoming your true self and releasing the false self you were trained to be in your family of origin, so you can finally experience clarity, peace, and lasting freedom. Lie number 1. Your feelings are always secondary to the family system. Growing up with narcissistic parents, you were taught that your feelings were inconvenient, dramatic, and possibly just wrong. When you expressed hurt, sadness, and anger, the family system dismissed, minimized, and punished you for it. You learned to suppress what you felt and prioritize everyone else's emotional comfort over your own reality. This lie didn't exist to help you, it existed to keep you quiet and manageable. Often that is the lie that's at the bottom of why so many people have struggles with knowing and feeling and experiencing their feelings. This lie from your narcissistic family continues to control you today. You struggle to identify and trust your own emotions because you were trained by the family system to doubt yourself. You can't express a feeling without immediately minimizing it, apologizing for it, and wondering if you even have the right to feel it at all. Lie number 2. Love is conditional with narcissistic parents. And true love and our family love is conditional. And that's normal. Your narcissistic parents taught you that love had to be earned through performance, compliance, perfection, and constant adjustment. When you met their expectations, you received some approval or some things that appeared to be like love. But the moment you didn't, love was withdrawn through coldness, criticism, and rejection. You learned that connection depended on being who they needed you to be, not who you really were. In healthy families, children are loved for simply existing, but not in yours. As an adult, this lie from your narcissistic family keeps you trapped in relationships where you're constantly performing. You give others unconditional acceptance and love, but you've never learned to give yourself that same grace and believe you're worthy of it without earning it. Lie number 3. You're responsible for your narcissistic parents' emotions. Growing up, your narcissistic parents made you responsible for managing their moods, anxiety, stress, and emotional instability. If they were upset, angry, and unhappy, you were taught it was your job to fix it, soothe them, and prevent it from happening. You became hypervigilant, always scanning for emotional shifts and adjusting yourself to keep the peace. This lie taught you that other people's feelings were your burden to carry. You were tuned into their emotional Wi-Fi, the unspoken emotional energy and expectations that flow between family members. Even today, this lie from your narcissistic family impacts every relationship you have. You automatically take responsibility for managing everyone's emotions and comfort, never questioning whether it's actually yours to fix. You learn to give others emotional care and reassurance endlessly, while directing guilt and shame toward yourself when you can't control how they feel. I find that commonly happening when, let's say a father is having difficulty with his son, younger son, but maybe a teenage son or something, and the mother grew up in a dysfunctional narcissistic family. She feels she needs to interfere or be a part of that relationship with the father and the son and fixing it and making it better because of what she grew up learning, that she was responsible for everybody's happiness, peace, and to smooth over conflict, when maybe it would be resolved if we let them resolve it, because the son has to deal with the father and the father has to deal with the son. That's life. Lie number 4. And your narcissistic parent is always right. As a child, your narcissistic parents enforced the lie that they were always right and you were always not right. Questioning them was treated as disrespect, defiance, and proof of your inadequacy. Even when you knew the truth, your reality was rewritten to match theirs. You learned to distrust your own perceptions and defer to their version of events, no matter how distorted. This pattern follows you into adulthood. You second-guess your own judgment and instincts constantly. When there's disagreement, you assume the other person is probably right and you must be missing something because everybody's gotten the memo but you in life, it often feels like. Lie number 5. Your narcissistic parents told you dysfunctional behaviors were normal. Your narcissistic parents told you that the dysfunction you experienced was just how families work. When you questioned the chaos, emotional abuse, boundary violations, and manipulation, you were told you were overreacting and being dramatic. All families do this. They normalize the abnormal, making you doubt whether your pain was even valid. You learn to accept maltreatment and mistreatment as standard and to question your own perception of what's healthy versus harmful. This rule, or this lie, from your narcissistic family continues to dictate your adult life. You tolerate toxic behavior and friends in relationships because you've been trained to believe it's normal or just something to be accepted. You make excuses for others' dysfunction and minimize red flags because you hold yourself to an impossible standard. Believing your reactions, needs, and boundaries are the problem. Lie number 6. Boundaries are disrespectful with narcissistic parents. It's being disrespectful to narcissistic parents if you assert a boundary. Growing up, your narcissistic parents treated any attempt at boundaries as rejection, defiance, and proof you didn't love them. Setting limits meant you were selfish, ungrateful, and cold, and you're not honoring them as parents. You learned that protecting yourself emotionally and physically would result in guilt trips, punishment, and emotional withdrawal. This created enmeshment. When there are no emotional boundaries between you and someone else, making it impossible to know where you ended and others began. Even now, this lie from your narcissistic family haunts you. You respect everyone else's boundaries without question, but when it comes to setting your own, you feel crushing guilt, fear, and anxiety that you're being mean or wrong or will be rejected for having a boundary. Lie number 7. Your achievements don't matter to your narcissistic parent. Your narcissistic parents taught you that success you achieved was either their doing, not a big deal, or something they competed with and minimized. If you accomplished something, they often took credit, dismissed it as insignificant, turned the attention back to themselves, and made you feel smaller for even trying. You were never allowed to fully own your achievements and feel genuinely proud of yourself. This lie kept you dependent on external validation and unable to recognize your own worth. This belief system controls your adult relationships. You deflect compliments, downplay your accomplishments, give credit to everyone else naturally, and erase your own contributions. But you can't accept recognition for yourself without feeling like an imposter and wondering if you actually deserve it. Lie number 8. Your narcissistic family's problems are your fault. As a child, your narcissistic parents often made you the scapegoat for everything wrong in the family. Financial stress, marital problems, their unhappiness, a brother and sister's failure. It was all somehow connected to you. When conflict arose, you were blamed, criticized, and punished, even when you had nothing to do with it. You learned to carry shame and responsibility for things far beyond your control. This lie shaped you into someone who apologizes for existing and has filled you with systems feelings systems feelings are automatic conditioned guilt and shame triggered by others and felt on cue, not authentic feelings that come from your true self, but they are systems feelings that come from what you've learned in the play and learning your script emotionally growing up in the narcissistic family. This rule from your narcissistic family continues to control you today. You automatically assume you're at fault when something goes wrong in any relationship and situation. The moment there's tension and a problem, you search for what you did wrong and how you can fix it, even when it may have nothing to do with you. Lie number 9. Your narcissistic family was close and happy. Your narcissistic parents forced you to maintain the image that your family was close, loving, functional, even perfect, no matter what was happening behind closed doors. You had to smile for outsiders, lie about the abuse, pretend everything was perfect, and never speak the truth. Speaking the truth was treated as betrayal and disloyalty. You learned that appearances mattered more than reality, and your job was to protect the family's image at the expense of your own truth. This conditioning shapes your adult life. You hide your pain, you perform being happy, maintain facades in relationships, and keep secrets because you learned that showing the truth means you're disloyal and difficult. You offer others genuine support and permission to be honest, but you can't extend that same permission to yourself without feeling like you're failing and betraying someone. Lie number 10. Your narcissistic parent knows you better than you know yourself. Growing up, your narcissistic parents told you what you thought, felt, wanted, and needed, and insisted they knew better than you did. You know they're a lot older than you, so they must know much more than you. Your preferences were dismissed, your interests were ignored, and your identity was defined by what they decided about you, and your voice was silenced. You were never given the space to discover who you really were. This lie stripped you of the ability to trust your own inner voice. Even today, this lie from your narcissistic family impacts how you navigate life. You struggle to make decisions and trust your instincts because you were trained to believe others know better. When someone offers you their opinion and advice, you assume they must be right and your own thoughts must be flawed. Lie number 11. You owe your narcissistic parents everything. Your narcissistic parents taught you that you owed them an unpayable debt simply for being born. They weaponized basic parenting responsibilities, feeding you, housing you, keeping you alive, sending you to school, as proof that you should be eternally grateful and compliant. You learned that your existence was a burden and your job was to repay them through loyalty, sacrifice, obedience, even financially. Healthy families don't keep score, but yours did. And this rule and lie from your narcissistic family continues to dictate your relationships. You may give endlessly to others out of obligation and guilt, believing you owe them simply for being in your life. This is what I call loaning self. Overhelping, overgiving at the expense of your real self is loaning self to others, while never believing you're entitled to receive care, support, and consideration without owing something in return. Lie number 12. Who you are is not enough for your narcissistic family. As a child, your narcissistic parents made it clear that who you were, your personality, your interests, your emotions, and needs were never quite right. You were too sensitive, too quiet, too loud, not enough, or just too much. No matter what you did and how hard you tried, the message was always the same. You needed to be different. You learned to erase yourself and become whoever they needed in the moment. This lie is the foundation of the false self you've been living as. This still haunts you today. You adapt yourself to fit, and often fit everyone else's expectations and needs, often automatically, never questioning if you're abandoning yourself in the process. You celebrate and accept others for exactly who they are, flaws and all, but you never learn to do that for yourself. Instead, you believe who you really are isn't worthy of love, connection, and belonging. Let me share a self-differentiation tip with you. When dealing with family lies and dysfunctional rules, ask yourself honestly if you're ready to give up this lie and own fully you don't believe it as truth and reality. And just remember, just because you are mentally ready to change, it may not mean you're emotionally ready to change or to deny the lie. And it's okay if you are not ready. It's better for us to accept ourselves and say, I'm not ready to let go of that lie yet. Because there may be good reasons why you aren't ready, such as what would be the downsides of giving up one of these lies or rules. Many think, well, if I give up those lies, it will all be good. I wish that were the case. But often there are downsides to good changes, such as what would they think of me if I no longer thought I owed them for the rest of my life? What could that do between a child and parent's relationship when the child is an adult? I would have to start owning the fact I disagree with this way of thinking. And if you disagree with that way of thinking, then that's going to come out in the relationship, and it may make the relationship rocky, at least for a while, or permanently. So there may be some downsides to rejecting the lies. In the Road to Self program that I offer, I help you with things to help you resolve those problems. If you're ready to finally break free and start living with clarity, peace, and a grounded connection to your true self, then join the Road to Self program. Many who have joined it say it was the missing piece in their healing journey, the step that finally helped them get the family out of them and stand strong as their true self. If you're not sure the Road to Self program is for you, then start with my free 84-minute self-differentiation training. Over 30,000 people have joined the free training as their first step. Click the links in the description below to get started. Don't forget to subscribe and like and hit the bell icon so you'll never miss a new video. I want to thank you for watching. Have a great day and be wise.